Hearty welcome to one and all. And today we are going to talk about the effective communication. And myself, Dr. K.S. Ramakrishnan, Associate Professor, School of Education, TNOU. And actually, it is a short-term course in Life Skills and Personality Development, CPD 03. And now, before starting, let us discuss about what are the definitions of effective communication. So what do you mean by the communication? The communication, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the act or process of using words, sound, sign, or behavior. So it may be of any kind. You have used the word or sound or sign, that means a non-verbal cue, or by your behavior also. See, for example, I am asking you to do something, and if you are not at all responding to it, by your behavior, you are saying that you will not do it. So the behavior, it doesn't make any sign or symbol or sound, but at the same time that your behavior says that you are not interested to do it. Or exchange of information, or to express your ideas, thoughts, feeling, etc. to someone else. That is called the communication. And Griffin defines the process of sending a message from a sender to receiver. So in communication, there is a sender, there is a receiver, in such a way that the message received is as close in meaning as possible. That means I am trying to communicate to you. See, now all of us that we are communicating with each other. So I am trying to send a message and you are receiving. At the end of the time, at the end of 1.5 hours, if you are able to catch up what I teach, then that means that the communication is possible or the communication is probable. And Roberts defines the communication as the passing of the right message or information to the right receiver in the right way, at the right time, with the right effect, impact, and outcome. So he gives more importance for the impact and outcome also. Suppose if there is a communication, there should be an outcome. So 3 words that he is using: effect, impact, and outcome. So what is the effect? You are listening, I am talking. So the listening is the effect. And what is the impact? So after the class is over, you are completing all the assignments, and that means that I am impacting you. And what is the outcome? After the examination, if you are scoring well, because the outcome is always defined in numbers or the the outcome. That means that what has happened as a result of something. So that is called outcome. And till that, I can say it is effective and I have impacted, but the outcome should prove it. So you are all teachers. So what's the outcome of your teaching? At the semester exam or at the school examination, if your students are scoring well, that means that your outcome is good. And that's why the recent that is the policies are giving more importance for the outcome based education, OBE. That means that education is measured on the basis of the outcome. So Roberts defines the communication on the basis of the outcome. And there are some other definitions also. The American Management Association, it defines communication, clear idea about the topics and receiver of communication. That means the idea should be clear, the determination of purpose, knowing the environment of communication. So we should know the environment of communication. So what does it mean, the environment? The environment should be receptive. That means you should be receiving. And suppose if there is a chaos or pandemonium, then there is no meaning of communication. And then the teacher, he has to take control of the class, and after that he has to communicate. Otherwise, what will happen? I will simply say or I will simply teach, and it may not be effective. Planning the communication in consultation with others. So here that they are group communication, because the communication is generally doesn't happen individually. So it is always in consultation with others. Considering the content. So what content that I am going to pass? So what is the content of today's communication? The communication itself. Okay, that is a message. And making the receiver aware of the value. So you are the receiver, and for the past 15 days, I have been sending so many messages to make you aware. That's why at least today some 13 or 14 people are attending the class. So that means that some of you are aware of the value of communication. What is the value of communication? Because if you are attending the class and attending all the assignments and everything, then naturally that you will get good marks. And that is a value. Receiving feedback. So at the end of the class, you may send some messages, or that is what to tell. If you are writing the assignments well, that means indirectly that you are giving a positive feedback to us. Because what is after all a feedback? If you are getting something from the class, that means that you are having a positive feedback, and otherwise vice versa. And so receiving the feedback from the receiver. So the feedback after 1.5 hours, you may give some messages. Sir, it is okay, it is good, I understood, I didn't understand this, that and all. That's the feedback. Defining appropriately whether communication messages are of short run or long run importance. So how can you define? So this communication, that we are giving the communication, but whether it is a short run or long run importance, that only the receiver has to say, or it depends upon to what extent that it is useful for the receiver. Because the same course, some of you have joined for your what to tell, promotion, and some of you for improving your personality. And so whether it is short run or long run, it depends upon you also. And so in communication, both the parties are important, the sender as well as the receiver. All actions are related with communication. So all the actions, they are related to the communication only, not anything extra. Because I am not coming here for dancing or singing. I am here for very important communication. And so all the actions are related to communication only, and good listening. I don't know to what extent or how much that you are listening. I don't know, because all your mics are muted, and therefore I can't hear any noise from you, and therefore I can't say whether you are listening. And if at all you are listening, whether it is a good listening or satisfactory listening, that time only can say. And so the American Management Association, actually that I have prepared the PowerPoint presentation in such a way that it can be used as a notes also. It's a class notes. So all the points. So define American Management Association's perception about the communication. So all the points, at least some out of 10. If you are writing some points, that means that it's enough for you. And so I have prepared the PowerPoint in the form of a notes only. And so you can directly use it as a notes also. Now let us come back. What is the process of communication? So you look at the diagram, there are some arrow marks are there, and it is starting from the sender. Okay, the sender is the starting point. And in our situation, who is the sender? Who is the sender? Can somebody write through the chat box? Who is the sender? And what is the message? All of you, in your notes, you please write. Just before going into communication, it's a common sense only. So you need not think much about all this. There is a sender, there is a message, there is a receiver, and there is a communication channel, and there is an encoding, there is a decoding, and there is a feedback. So now the question is, who is a sender? You please write in your notebook or something, sender, message, and receiver. So can I see the chat box? Sai, you are? இதில் மீட்டுக்கு எப்படி போடுறது? இதான் இதில் இந்த chat பாக்ஸ்லாம் வர மாட்டேங்குது. ஓ, அதை இது பண்ணிட்டு தான் வரணுமா? சரி, ஓகே, அப்படியே கண்டினியூ பண்ணுறேன். ஓகே, நோ ப்ராப்ளம். Okay, I'll continue. So now the communication is starting from the sender. So the sender is starting the communication, and so encode means he is preparing the message for the communication purpose, and that is called encoding. So the encoding means that I am collecting some words, and here in this communication, so first of all I have selected a topic, and the topic is well written in the form of some English language or grammar, and I have checked all the grammar, and I have prepared a PowerPoint presentation, and I have chosen a medium, and I have chosen a format also. So what is the format? The lecture format that I have chosen. And all these are called the encoding. So the encoding means the process prior to the message. So after the encoding only, the message is created. So what is the message? The PowerPoint is the message. So the PowerPoint means not only the PowerPoint presentation, the matter inside the PowerPoint presentation is the message. So the sender decides to communicate, and he is collecting whatever the necessary things needed for creating the message. And then he has prepared the message. And then through the proper communication channel, that is sent to the receiver. So the receiver, the message is decoded, and then through the communication channel, it is reaching the receiver. So decoding means, so I am using the internet as the channel. See, for example, if you are using the radio or television, that means the voice is converted into electrical signal, and it is sent in the form of a radio or TV wave, and that also from the broadcasting tower. And that means that the message is not sent in the same way that you are sending to the, the communication channel, because the communication channel that is translating it into some other form, and that is through the channel it is receiving the receiver, and on the way it is decoded also. Decoding means, suppose if the message is reaching the receiver through your telephone or through your TV or radio or internet, you cannot directly catch the words. Whatever I am uttering, you cannot directly catch, because in your internet it has to be again from the electrical signal is converted into the audio signal, and it is amplified and it is fed through the speaker. And that means on the sender side the mic, on the receiver side the speaker is converting the electrical signal into audio signal, and therefore all these process from the sender side are called the encoding, and on the receiver side are called the decoding. Okay, and your mobile, that is a decoding device now. It alone is not decoding. There are the language and other forms of decoding that we will see now. And then you are giving the feedback, because this communication is a direct communication. So immediately that you are giving the feedback. And so this process is called the communication process. And now whatever that I have explained, that we will see in terms of the words. See the sender, the person who is conceiving the idea and initiates the conversation. So I am the sender. So I conceive the idea and I am initiating. And encoding, as I have told you, sender starts encoding certain words or non-verbal cue like symbol, sign, body gesture, anything it may be. So now that I am using the words only, I am not using any non-verbal cue, but at the same time you can use them also to translate the information into a message. So now the information that I have, that I am converting into a message using the knowledge, because I am using all my knowledge, ability, skill, perception, competency, so on and so forth. And so that I have encoded, and message, after encoding, the sender gets the message that he or she intends to convey. So now that message in the way of PowerPoint presentation, that the message is ready. The message may be written form, oral, symbolic, non-verbal, or any other signal. So now in this case, it is written form also and oral form also, because I am using the PowerPoint and therefore I am in the oral written form, and I speak also. Suppose if I am not speaking, it is in the written form, and if I am not showing the PPT, it is in the oral form. See, for example, our Solomon Papaya in Pattimandram and all, they don't show any PowerPoint and all, they speak only. So that is the oral. And so here it is dual, written or oral. And I am triggering the response of the receiver. So you are all receiving because I trigger the response. So I don't know whether to what extent that you are interested or you are listening, I don't know. But anyhow, I try to trigger the response. And the communication channel, there are umpteen number of communication channel. So in the olden days, the air was the only communication channel. So I am speaking to you in the class. So what is the channel? The air medium between the teacher and student, that is the only medium. So the medium is chosen carefully depending upon the audience. Now what medium that I am using, internet is my medium. Understand? Internet, because I am talking through the WebEx. WebEx means internet. So Why I have chosen internet? Because it is easy for me to translate the message and correctly interpreted by the receiver, and so the message, that's very important, and it depends upon the interpersonal relationship between the sender and the receiver. I know that I am comfortable with the internet, and I know that you are also comfortable with the internet, and therefore I have chosen this one. In case if I am talking with some village people or very old people who doesn't know how to operate the internet or mobile, naturally I will not use internet in some other medium. And so, and it depends upon the urgency also. In the olden time, the telegram was used for urgent speaking or urgent message. Ordinary letter, okay, that is if the message after some 3 or 4 days, if it is reaching, it's enough. That means it depends upon the urgency also. And so, my dear friends, the channel is chosen depending upon all these parameters. So, okay. And now, the receiver. Who is the receiver? You are the receiver. So, it's as simple. And the degree of decoding, I have already told you, decode means what message that I have sent, to what extent that you are understanding. My dear students, decoding doesn't mean only the electronic decoding or demodulation. It depends upon the biological, sociological, linguistic demodulation also. So, it depends upon your knowledge, your subject matter, your experience, and your relations. I am the teacher for most of you, and therefore, you'll give little bit more importance for the message. Suppose if I am an ordinary person who is shouting on the road, you may not bother much about. And the decoding, as I have told you, after decoding, the receiver understands the message the same way it was intended by the sender.